All right, going live. Right, go live. Yo, what is up, guys? DPS Podcast, episode 53. 53, man. 53, just over 1 year. I'm with my boy SLoMo. SLoMoBackSlap is the dirtiest, slappiest person on YouTube.
Oh,
even
hey.
bigger person on Twitch and Twitter. You know, cause shout out to him and his. Go ahead. What you about to say? Slappiest person. Well, you know what I mean.
You had a shower today.
Oh, Lord, you think?
I'm
what did your water? Is your solar panels not giving you enough heat for your water heater? Is it not heating it up enough so you can't take cold showers?
Oh no, my solar panels doing the damn thing.
Doing their thing. They gonna pay you at the end of the year this year again?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my electric company don't like me at all.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
They ain't getting nothing out of me.
They ain't getting nothing out of. Oh, you know what? That's actually a good conversation right there. Well, not even a conversation. Just want to ask you, how are you with cold? Do you like cold showers, or are you one of those hot? I need to be in a hot shower. The shower, the mirrors need to be steaming when I get out of them.
Like, I don't like a piping hot shower. Like I'm like some kind of mutant that is immune to fire or something. Like no, I don't need like that kind of hot shower. But I can't have a cold shower. Like I actually have gone like when hot water heater went out once. I went days without. I was like, bro,
you gonna be watch what you say.
Yeah, I look, man. I was like about 3 days. I was right, man. I was like, bro, I can't do it. Not a cold shower. I was doing a lot of wash ups, but cold shower, bro, no. Yeah. I've done that once in my life in college, and I was like, never again.
What was in college? Why in college? What happened?
Look, this was when when I went to about 3 different colleges before I finally graduated, and I just couldn't figure out what I really wanted to do. But my very first college was this university out in the mountains of Maryland, like very close to where like West Virginia is, and on the edge of Maryland, and like it's out in the mountains. They would get like when you would think you would have like normal, like typical weather. Oh, it's a nice fall day. Up there, we got snow. Okay, like a couple of feet of snow. It was pretty crazy. And so every now and then, like you stuff would just break. And so the dorm that I stayed in as a freshman was the oldest dorm on campus. It was actually also haunted, by the way, which that's a whole nother story. But the oldest dorm on campus, it was created like in 1908 or something like that. And it was consistently having issues with like heat not working, and then typically the hot water heater wouldn't work. And so like I took a cold shower once. I had no idea the hot water heater wasn't working, man. And it was just like, in addition to it being so cold in the dorm, and in that cold shower I had, I was just like, I can't do it again, man. It's like a mental block or something. I don't know. This is a very random conversation.
It is a very I don't know where. Well, you the one that just jumped down the scene saying no. I said no. I broke the question up as something else, and you was like, oh, I take showers. I'm dirty. I said I'm not dirty. I'm like, okay, well, look, let's explore. Let's explore this conversation a little bit deeper. Shout out to Spider. Shout out to you in the chat. Shout out to Mitchy Dies a Lot. Shout out to that guy Smitty. Shout out to that guy Smitty for the holler on Twitter, saying that we were one of his favorite podcasts to listen to. That man is he's always supporting and always listening to us. So shout out to him. Shout out
I love the podcast shout outs on Twitter.
Hey, I do.
It lets me know that we're doing something right.
Doing something right, yeah, exactly.
Doing something right. People shout you out and say they love to hear your podcast. I think the homie from the IOP Lord Cognito also did a shout out of his favorite podcasters of the year, by the way, of the year. So I was like, we made it of the year.
Wait, we made it to the year? Oh man,
yeah,
shout out to Con. Yeah, I gotta see about that.
Man, it's just it's humbling. It really is.
It is, especially
awesome. I love to hear it.
Especially hearing and being in the same group as you know, like IOP and stuff like that, man, that's up there, man, you know. And they hit shout out to the and congratulations to the squad IOP hitting 10,000 subscribers this week or as early as Saturday. So I know.
One thing.
Yeah, go ahead. We got a super chat from Brad.
Super chat from Enrique. He also says I'm a little low, so maybe check my levels.
Okay.
He says that hey SLoMo and Forte. Ooh yeah. I think he's doing the Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh yeah.
Oh yeah, well, you know. Ooh yeah.
Enrique snapping into a Slim Jim over there.
Oh Lord. Shout out to Jay the Destroyer saying what's up to us. My homeboy Sir Taz, shout out to him.
Red light, what's up, bro?
His red light, green light, you know, his meter was going off when we were talking about cold showers and stuff. He's like, no, not like this. And the homeboy Franco Tech, you know, appreciate you coming through, man. But
absolutely, Franco's always he's been a day one. He's been a day one there,
absolutely,
since the start. So
yeah. So let's get into what you've been up to, man. What's been going on in your gaming life and just life in general since I talked to you last week? Because I haven't talked, other than this morning when I talked to you, I haven't talked to you since the podcast last week, which is strangely not consistent at all.
That's not typical, not at all. Let me. So I guess like this would be like a really super genuine conversation because like you probably be shocked by some of the things I'm playing.
Yeah,
and some of some.
Wait, what you trying to say? Our conversations haven't been genuine, SLoMo?
No, no. It's like some things that we talk about are things that you already heard.
Yeah, that's true.
Discussed it, but like. You probably haven't no idea what I've been doing for.
No, not at least for the last 6.5 days.
So let's see here. I have been actually streaming, really randomly. I just decided to do it because like the game has been on my backlog for a minute now. Bioshock Infinite.
Oh.
And so I've been streaming that for the past couple days. Really enjoying the story. Like it's a game that like we've seen a lot. At least I've seen a lot of people talk about how good the game is, how good the story is, and I've always been kind of like, I'll get to it when I get to it. I wasn't a big fan of the first Bioshock. I know that might shock some people because the game is so highly regarded, but it just didn't resonate for me. Maybe it was the time that I played it. Maybe I just wasn't really into that kind of game at that time. But I played it once, never finished it. I got maybe about 3 or 4 hours into it before I dropped it. But Bioshock Infinite is a kind of a prequel to the first one. It takes place in like the early 1900s, and story-wise, I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. I've streamed. I've done about 2 streams of it. Maybe I'm about 4 or 5 hours in total. But the story is really interesting. The gameplay is easy, you know, but I might need to bump the difficulty up because I'm not really like being challenged at all.
Oh, you definitely gonna have to pump that difficulty. It does get a lot. How far in are you?
I am at the part where you had to get the shock power.
Yeah.
To power up the gondola. And so I finished that part, and then like right after that is when I saved it because I had to go pick up the kids. You know how it is. I'm enjoying it. The story is well, one, I like the dynamic between DeWitt, the main protagonist, and Elizabeth. I like their dynamic, but the story is very interesting in the sense that like the people that you're killing are like hardcore racists. Like they're like
they are.
I mean, like, and there's blatant racism, like in your they're like the writers of this game weren't trying to sugarcoat it. They weren't trying to make it like very like veiled or anything like that. They weren't trying to make it seem like you had to think about what they were really doing to see what was like hiding under the surface. There weren't any racist undertones here. Nah, this was just blatant, straight up in your face. They racist, man. Everybody here is a racist.
Everybody.
And it hits you with it like in the very very beginning where they're like you win some kind of prize and your prize is to throw a baseball at an interracial couple and it's
Yep.
like what? I'm sitting there like what is happening here? And I like the choices they give you because they gave you the choice to actually hit them, the interracial couple with it,
Yeah.
or hit the announcer with it. So it was. I'm enjoying the game though. I'm enjoying it. I think because I got that game on Steam and some Steam has the best sales, right?
Yes,
So
they
like
do.
they had a Bioshock sale sometime last year where like all three games were like $5 each or something like that. So that's why I have Bioshock Infinite. Like, and you know how it is. Like, even with it's like a game that you don't really care for like that. You'll end up getting it just because. Oh man, that's $5. That's $15 for the entire Bioshock collection.
Right.
How can I pass that up? Knowing you typically knowing damn well you're not gonna play it, but here I really did play it, and so now I think when I finish it, I might go play Bioshock One again. Don't know if I'll stream that, but I've been playing that. I'm at the end of Kena Bridge of Spirits. I think right before we went live, I beat the hunter boss, the one that's like mostly airborne and shoots the bow. So I beat that one. I think I'm just closing in now on maybe like the last couple of hours or the last hour or so to fight the last boss. I'm not certain, but I think that's the way it's going to go. But I've really been enjoying that one. It's Kana. It lived up to expectations, absolutely. I have some other games on the docket now that I'm going to play based off of some recommendations. And shout out to I can't remember who it was, but somebody said I should play AI the Somnium
Mm,
files. It's in Game Pass, so
okay.
I installed that. Haven't played it yet, but I will. Uh, I'm gonna try that out. I gotta try out Lost Eidolons because the first beta is available now, and I guess when we can, um, I can announce this now. So I have codes for Lost Eidolons, beta codes, and for those who aren't in the chat who aren't familiar with what Lost Eidolons is, if you're familiar with Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's that style of combat where it's strategy RPG, but also like Fire Emblem Three Houses, it's very very narrative driven.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it yet. So, but the developer Ocean Drive Games hit me up and was like, we know you covered the game before. Here's a code for the game, and if anyone else you think might be interested in the game, we got a couple more codes as well. I got another code from our homie DL Colon, who is a supporter of the show, and he is really hyped for the game, and he had a friend code that he was able to provide because I think he was in the Kickstarter for the game. So I got a few codes out there. If people are interested, just hit me up in the chat or hit me up on Twitter, and I will provide you a code. You can download the beta, give it a shot. Of course, it's PC because PC got exclusives for people who don't know, right? So
Being
it's
real messy right now.
I know. I'm sorry, but like that's what the codes are for. The codes are for PC. But like, if you're interested, just let me know. I'll hit you with one. But I mean, I've been running my mouth. How have you been, sir? What you been up to? What you been playing that isn't Destiny? That's because
Oh,
I don't need to know that you've been playing Destiny.
yo,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
already
yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
outside of Destiny, what have you been playing?
Outside of Destiny, oh well, first, Sly Crow, yes, Avengers is on PC Game Pass. I don't know if it was there earlier. It is there now.
It is.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. Install straight through the browser. Well, not through the browser, but through the app.
Interesting.
So I
You
thought it
know,
was PC only, but it is. We're gonna get into that in our first topic. But what were you about to say, SLoMo?
Oh, I was gonna say I did not know it was in the PC Game Pass as well. That which
Show it. So it's Scarlet Nexus.
yeah, oh well, yeah, I knew Scarlet Nexus was. I actually decided to earlier today install Scarlet Nexus just to see how the performance was compared to the Steam version, which is the one I played through twice and thoroughly enjoyed because Scarlet Nexus is awesome and it's pretty good. I mean, it's actually I would say, well, one, the game runs extremely well on my rig already, but I think it ran slightly better on the Windows Store version, which kind of shocked me.
What? I thought you were about to throw slander, bro.
Bruh, that is like a unicorn of a game.
Yeah.
Like, it almost never runs better on the Windows Store version compared to the Steam version. But this one, I mean, like it was running extremely well. I did have, I think that, okay, the frame rate was even higher than it was on Steam. On Steam, it would be in like the 150 frame per second range, and then on the Windows Store version, it was in the 200s. And so I had to but it was like there was a lot of screen tearing going on because I had VSync off. And for some reason my FreeSync monitor just wasn't like evening that out. So I turned on VSync in the settings of the game, and it locked it to 144 frames per second, which is what my native hertz for my monitor is. And yeah, like it never came off that 144 after I did that. But I only played up to like, I don't know, like the very first up to the first mission. I did the prologue area. So yeah, I was actually pretty impressed with it. I know with Avengers is extremely demanding on PC. And even though it performs well on my rig, now that I know that the Avengers Xbox version is actually on PC as well, I might go install that one too, and see how well it performs compared to the Steam version.
Oh, we can get 2 for 2 probably. Probably not.
Look, hey,
probably not.
I think I don't
asking for too much.
Asking for too much here.
No, but yeah, but outside of that, I've been playing a game that I won't name because you already know I've been playing it. I've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite, playing a lot of the multiplayer. Really enjoyed that.
Let's talk about that.
So we can talk about that.
Did you play it on Xbox? You played it on PC?
I played both places.
Okay, when you played it on PC, how was the performance?
The first couple days, terrible.
Yeah, okay.
Terrible.
I just need to make sure.
Terrible,
bruh.
Like it just felt like the tracking, like aim assist and stuff, was just non-existent part of it. It just felt like I was getting these weird stutters every once in a while whenever you would be in. Yes. It felt like it felt like flinch whenever I would get shot. It felt like the game was flinching, but it was doing it when I wasn't even in gunfights. I was like, yo, what is going on?
I'm talking about literally like on the dot, every 3 or 4 seconds, my screen would freeze.
Oh, that's more than a flinch.
Yo, so so like one MSI Afterburner doesn't work in the Halo Infinite flight right now. So it doesn't work. Not only does it not work, it actually decreases the performance. You just turn it off, right? So I turned it off. I turned on the in-game FPS monitor, indicator, so I can see what frames I'm getting, even though I can't see all the stats I would like to see.
Right.
My frame rate was literally in like the 120 to 130 range.
And then it'll just stop.
And then when that freeze would happen, I would see it go to 50.
That's
and then
enough.
Go back up to 130. And like, it made the game unplayable on PC because I'd be like shooting at somebody, the freeze would happen, then I'm dead, and I'm like, what happened to me? Like, I don't know what happened to me. I don't know. I'm shooting the guy, he don't even see me. I'm shooting, he don't even know I'm there, and next thing I know, I'm dead. It's just like, yo, I can't fight people like this. I can't shoot people like this. It was frustrating. I kept playing though because the gunplay is so good.
Oh, it's good.
It's like, and every now and then I would have a match that did not have the issues. So I was trying to figure out why this was happening, because it would be like let's say 1 out of every 4 matches, it wouldn't do that. And then I got to the point where I was just like, if it started doing it, I would just quit the match, which I hate doing. I hate quitting matches, but so I would quit matches because it was that bad.
It was just unplayable sometimes.
Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do with the flight that starts tomorrow is that if it because
Rodman said there is a patch for PC tomorrow too.
Excuse me. Yes, I that's what I was about to mention. They did come out and said that they pushed out a patch, although this was an issue that was not as bad in the first flight, but I noticed it happen in like 2 matches. And I was like, that's weird. But it didn't happen enough to make me wonder about it. The fact that it went from that to like literally almost every match for me kind of makes me wonder, do they really have a handle on this? So if it's still present tomorrow, I'm just gonna play it on my Series S, which I don't want to because it's locked to 60 frames per second.
Yeah,
and it's 1080p. But
nothing wrong with 1080p, man. 1080p makes you a better gamer.
Stop it. That's back in 2013, sir. It's 2021 now. But I may have to just play it on the Series S, where I don't know if the performance is better. I heard the performance is great on the Series X, which is awesome.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe that it's better. And I mean, like I said, it's all driver issues and stuff and just performance and stuff. So I know inherently the PC version should be better, but as of right now, the Xbox Series X version is leaps and bounds better. Like,
well, there's only one SKU. So look, this is how
it's the whole SKU. Yeah, you got one thing you got to port for.
Yeah, they have 4 SKUs to optimize for versus PC where there's so many different configurations. You don't know everyone's rig. They might have some software on there that you're not aware of that somehow like just really doesn't jive well with what you have going on in your game and things that you have not been able to anticipate prior to now. But this is what the flight's for. It's for ironing these kind of issues out and then giving them feedback on what's not working and what the problems are, so that this isn't a problem when the game comes out in December. Because the last thing that they really will want, especially now where I kind of feel like they have a really big opportunity to have their multiplayer be a mainstay.
Right.
With Call of Duty not looking like the best Call of Duty that you're going to get this year. They're going back to World War II. A lot of people don't like that.
This Call of Duty should go back to the drawing board.
Right. And then you got Battlefield, which is, although Battlefield looks good, it's still DICE. And every single Battlefield that has launched is always launched with some issues ahead of time. So, like, I think if they can come out with a stable multiplayer that people can actually get into and enjoy. And again, like I said, this is the best gunplay that 343's ever done. So this is like, they have a real good opportunity here to really steal some players from some other mainstays. And you don't want like issues like this being a problem when, at launch. You just don't want that to be an issue December 8th. So I really do hope it's fixed. But if it's not, like I said, I'll be playing it on my Series S.
Yeah, so shout out to MDHX. He says cinematic 1080p, sir. That's what it is on the S. It's not just 1080p, it's cinematic 1080p. Shout out to Sir Taz with the driver issues. So Sir Taz was he came through and hung out at the house with me not yesterday, on Tuesday. We did some stuff, trying to get some stuff going on him with his editing and stuff like that. And I let him play Destiny.
Hold up.
What's up?
Editing. Sir Taz about to become a content creator now?
Sir Taz, he about to put some stuff. He about to put some work in. We about to get him going.
That's what I like to see now. Okay.
Yeah. Taz. So my man about to, he about to be doing his thing, get some stuff going. He want to,
What kind of content is Taz
doing?
Is
He really hasn't. He probably gonna do some Destiny stuff, but who knows? But I think he wants to mostly do it with his kid and stuff, because that's like a really good bonding experience to do stuff like that with his younger sibling. But Siblings. Yes, I just said sibling. Yeah, it's definitely not. It's his sibling. His offspring.
I would hope his younger child isn't also his sibling.
His offspring.
That's a very Alabama kind of.
Whoa, SLoMo. Come on now, you can't be calling out people. You're trying to say Alabama people or something wrong there.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, there's a
look, everything doesn't. Hey, listen, man. Just because people are from Alabama doesn't mean that they live that life.
I'm not saying everybody from Alabama.
I just asked you.
You intimate relationship with their cousin. I'm just saying that sometimes that happens, and when it's happening, it's in Alabama. Oh, look, let's move on.
Okay, man. It's in Alabama. Okay, but no, he came through, and we were what is happening? He came through, and I let him play Destiny on the Beast on the computer. He keep hearing all of this PCMR talk. No, on my actual desktop.
Okay.
And he, in all its 1440p. Listen. I think he tried to hold it in. He was up here making it seem like it's not this. He said, "Oh, this monitor looks really good. This looks great." He said, "But I don't see the difference. 120 frames per second. Like my computer was like running at like between, depending on where I was at, it was between 90 and like well over 120." He's sitting there like, "I can't see the difference. I don't." He said, "It looks like 60 frames to me."
Why? I have never ever heard anyone who's used to 60 frames per second say see 120 and be like, "I don't see."
Listen, I tried to tell him
a Grand Canyon Gulf size difference.
I tried to tell him. I was like, "Yo, listen, you got to play for like a good hour and try to go back to 60, and you'll notice the difference immediately." He's like, "No, man, I don't." He said, "This monitor looks phenomenal." He's like, "This." He said, "Ultra wide." He said, "This is crazy. This is a game changer." But he was like, when it comes to this 60 frames per second that you and SLoMo be talking about and how it's so much more better on PC, I don't see it.
That's cap.
See, there. He said, "Look," he just said right there. He said, "I didn't see or feel anything."
Just because you were a corpse. That's why you didn't see or feel anything. Yeah, that's the only explanation that I can get right now. That it doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, absolutely does not.
I'm just letting you know what that man was saying. He said he enjoyed the widescreen though.
But like people are talking filmic and all this kind of stuff in the chat. Let me. I know this is like not video game related whatsoever, and I'll just touch on it briefly. But I've been watching some really cool international stuff. So like I watched 2 TV shows that are on Netflix. Definitely watch the Squid Game.
Yes, halfway through it.
I absolutely recommend it. Awesome.
So good.
After the Squid Game, watch Alice in Borderland. It's based off of a manga, which some people who probably have like watched the manga might be like, "Ew, not Netflix live action," because Netflix live action is like absolutely awful. But I didn't know it was a manga before I watched it, and I thought it was actually pretty good. So I liked it. Alice in Borderland's really good, and what else I've been watching? Those 2 are the main ones, but like definitely watch those. Those are absolutely worth it. What is up with Taz doing the red light, green light in the chat?
I don't know. Taz is Taz, man.
See, this is why you think 60 frames per second is no different than 120.
Leave Taz alone. That's my boy. But no, that was cool. He got a chance to play that. But outside of that, just been playing just stuff. Like mostly a lot of Halo, just because I was taking a break from Destiny, and I haven't really played anything over the last 2 days. I was just kind of out of it. When your body just tells you to sit the heck down, and you really can't fight it. It's like it told me when I got home from work on Monday. It said go do this, do that. I hung out with Taz on Tuesday, and after Taz left, it was a wrap. Taz would be the first one to tell you. He said normally I'm on Destiny right after reset. I ain't been on Destiny since Monday. just because my body was telling me nope. And then I worked.
Maybe your body's telling you it's sick of that game.
Oh my God!
Play it anymore. But look, maybe that's just me. I don't know.
It's definitely just you.
I do agree. Your body's telling you you need to rest. You gotta listen, or
you gotta listen.
Bad things will happen. Today I didn't work today. I was just so. I woke up this morning. I wasn't feeling that great. My throat was kind of sore. It was just. I just like that. I'm not going into work. And
he said you acted slow. He said, I guess the red light, green light was Squid Games. Duh, you acted slow.
Oh yeah, the first episode. Yeah, that was whatever, man. How am I supposed to remember that? Look, although that part of that episode was fire, yo. Like they really had. We're just playing red light, green light.
yeah, red light, green light, red light, green light.
Go ahead and get caught.
Go ahead and get caught. That's what it was.
Bullet to the temple.
No, man, that show is pretty incredible. I ain't gonna lie. But yo, we ain't gonna spoil it here, but shout out to Wednesday's What If.
Oh yeah.
We ain't gonna spoil it.
You know what? Yeah, we're not gonna spoil it, but did not say how it was going to turn out, how this whole thing was going to end.
Yep.
Was going to end that like, well, I mean, I don't think that wasn't the final episode, right?
I think they have one or two more.
Penultimate. That's probably the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
I kind of figured it was going to go this way, where like, because people kept wondering like, how come the other episodes just kind of ended the way they did? Like, it just didn't seem like that's the end of that story. And to me, it just seemed like, yeah, it's not the end of these stories. There's going to be more to come. So. Yeah. What if's actually been pretty fire.
Yeah, man. I haven't really come across one that I was like, oh, that could have been better. Like all
have
of
you watched the Star Wars Visions yet?
Yes. What did you think?
I haven't watched any of it yet.
I watched all that's out. Yeah.
I only saw a clip on Twitter where it looked like a Jedi or maybe in the Sith, I don't know, took their lightsaber, turned it into like a copter or something, the glide down, which looked cool, but also looked unnecessary because you're a Jedi. Right?
Well, listen, they always tell you to fall with grace, and that was one of the best ways of falling with grace.
Yeah. But then I did see a lot of like, the Star Wars nerds that I love to annoy because they act so anal about everything Star Wars. That's it makes sure it's super accurate.
Right, like exactly.
Like it was like, that's not how a lightsaber is supposed to operate. Cares, dude. They look cool. Shut up.
Yep. Sertaz says there's 2 more episodes of What If left, so shout out to that.
Oh, 2? Excellent. I could already see where this is going. If you haven't watched What If yet, I would say I don't know what you're doing with yourself, man. Disney Plus is
it's hot fire.
6 months ago, we used to have conversations where people would be like, man, Disney Plus ain't worth it. Like, they don't have no content. Can't nobody say that now. Like, yo, it's too much content.
For less than $10 a month? Come on now, man. It's worth every penny.
Disney, I think, didn't they hit like, they're already over 100.
They're over 100. Yeah, they're over 100. Well, and that's the highest they've been since the opening of it. Because remember, they had a massive drop off after Mandalorian, but now they found a way to keep people. And this is the thing about these subscription services, all you gotta do is find a reason to keep people hooked. Right. And that one reason was Mandalorian. It was Mandalorian at first. Yeah. Now it's like you haven't even gotten to the book of Fett yet, and now you're talking about Visions, and you're talking about What If, and all of these different things that they're coming out with that is intellectual property that they own, and it is the only way you can watch it is through Disney Plus. And it's ingenious.
Let me get this super chat real quick. Shout out to After His Passion with the $10.
Oh Lord.
Let me just start this off by a disclaimer that this is cap. Okay, this is a $10 a cap, but we he the homie, so we gonna say it anyway. Taz is 100%. The PC Bendejo race has to lie to themselves to justify overspending by $2,500 to gain a couple frames and tiny resolution bumps. Viva la console, where reason and logic still apply. Well, after his passion, let's break this down. First of all, Taz is not 100%. Taz is at 0.0001%. That's you got the ones and zeros mixed up here. Let's second of all, $2,500, right? Let's break down cost again. I always have to say this to console guys because they only seem to recognize the amount they spent on their console, and they don't really recognize that LG C1 they bought that was $1,700
is included in the price.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have bought that if you weren't going to game on it. So that's included in your price, silly. Like the times that they buy multiple consoles and their mid-gen refreshes and how much they're paying for Xbox Live or PSN and all this other extra stuff that you don't have to pay for on PC. Like all that stuff adds up, and you are spending just as much as a PC gamer. Or more for premium performance, at least on premium performance on console, but premium performance in a closed environment. Not all PC gamers are spending $2,500 on their rig. There are PC gamers that be like, I'm gonna be on a budget. I want to play all my games at 1080p, 60 hertz, 60 frames per second with ultra settings. And when I say ultra settings, that means nothing to most console gamers. They have no idea what I'm talking about when I say ultra settings. And they don't know what I'm talking about because you don't get a choice with those settings. You don't get a choice to what level you want to set your screen space reflections to. You don't get a choice on your anthropic. Yeah, there we go.
Anthropic. Yeah.
Filtering. You don't get a choice. You don't get a choice on the level of textures you have. You don't get a choice on your draw distance.
Resolution scaling.
You don't get a choice on any of that. You don't get a choice of your field of view for 95% of your games. So you don't know what any of that stuff means. And so when you don't know what any of it means, and it's clear you don't, because the only thing you bring up when it comes to visuals is resolution, which is the most expensive and least important aspect. They
coming for you. Shout out to Zero Cool. Shout out, thanks for being here, man. Sly Crow said most PC gamers aren't elitists. Getting the top of the line card after his passion with the $5 super chats. I mean, Erodimus with the $5 super chat saying, after his passion, facts. Is your monitor and OS included in that price?
Who OS? Who spends money on their OS? I have Windows 10 Professional. I spent $10 on it. All right. When you know. My monitor, my monitor, which is freaking amazing, I spent $450. Like it is. Look, they're so mad because they realize they wrong.
Oh my God, they crazy.
That LG CX, I spent $1,500 on that. Oh man,
Luke, shout out.
I got a Series X and a Series S. I bought both of them. That's $700. Oh man, I'm already at that $2,400. Like they're hurt. They're just so hurt. Shout out to Luca with the $5 super chat. PC Bendejo race.
Shout out to Erodimus. He says you cap for a feature. You said you can't cap for a feature if you can't pronounce it.
I don't need to pronounce it. I just know I get to choose what level it is and you don't. People make choices for you, Erodimus. So maybe you're sheep like that and you like people making choices for you. I don't know. That's up to you.
Listen, Taz, you ain't coming for me, man. I ain't said nothing. I kept my mouth shut. I'm staying.
Zero Cool wants to know how I got the Windows 10. There's a website. You know what? We can't. I'm not gonna talk about this here.
CD keys.
It's legal.
CD keys. That's
no. The CD keys is very questionable. Like
they are.
You might get it. You might get a. You might.
Don't say G2A. Don't say G2A.
I'll find it, but I got
Sir
my Windows 10
Taz, everybody does a game on a 34-inch ultra wide monitor like I do. Most people only play at 1080p. Because I have a
like the
$1,000 monitor.
Gamers have a GTX 1060 graphics card, which is like what, 4 years old now, something like that. Like
yeah,
it's that's like on the level of an Xbox One X. And they play at 1080p. So that's like the majority. It's the console gamers get so upset, and they get upset at the high end PC gamer that they spend for premium. They spend for quality, as we all do. If you want the best, you gotta spend money to get that. That's all that is. You know?
Shout out to Brad with the $2 super chat. I just used CD keys for Dark Souls Remastered. They sell PS5 games on there? You can actually buy. So. You can actually buy. I mean, shoot, you can't even buy a PS5 game in store. You can get it off of a website like that. Oh Lord, Luke. Okay, so we got to move on. Because we got Luke in here going crazy. We got Rodimus. His blood is boiling.
Luke is one of us.
Well, Luca, Luca ain't gonna say that though. Luca gonna be like, "Well, look, man, I play on console. That was my console brothers."
She spent $2,100 on her PC.
She did
3070, and I think she got 32 gigs of RAM too. Yeah, look,
she do. She gonna tell you it's because of content. She gonna tell you it's for content creation though.
Disgusting. I don't want to hear it.
All right, SLoMo. So getting back on track, that's a PS4, Xbox One game. Okay. Oh, he talking about that's the original one. Okay, got you. But outside of that, I didn't tell you. I did go buy. I do have a little man now, SLoMo.
You got a Series S?
I got that, and I have another Xbox Series X. I have three.
So you have two Series X's
in an Xbox Series S in my house right now.
So that's a combined
three Xboxes.
$1,300 in Xboxes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it? I didn't pay that much for them.
I don't think that's bad at all. I just think that those who would try to shame PC gamers for spending that kind of money should actually think about how other people spend their money.
No, GameStop's running a really stupid promotion right now. If you guys have any of your older consoles and stuff, I know either through this weekend, going into next weekend, or it might end this week. I haven't really looked into it to see. They're giving $50 extra for any console you trade in. And then if you have controllers, because, controller shortages are everywhere, especially for PlayStation 3 and controllers like that. If you trade your controller in, you're getting 50% more. So it, like any Xbox Series S or X controller or PS5 controller, you're literally getting $50 almost for every controller you trade in. So I traded in all my extra controllers, like the ones I have one for each system, but all the extras I traded in my Xbox One X because my daughter had got my Xbox One X when I went to the new system, and I traded in 2 sets of my Joy-Cons because I don't need as many as I got. I kind of went crazy Joy-Con buying, and I traded 2 of those in. And then I traded all of my daughter's physical games in that she had, which was like 4 or 5 of them. Ended up getting like $622 for all of that stuff. So
you
then
really did a whole lot just to...
No, listen. So the goal was just to go, and because the only reason this happened is because my store sent me a picture of somebody returning a Xbox Series X into the store, and I was like, really? I was like, oh, okay. I said, brand new in the box. They said, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll be up there because my daughter been wanting the new Xbox anyways. I said, okay, I'll trade in her old stuff, and it was only going to be like a $90 difference with the trade-in. I was like, okay, that's cool. And then she said, well, the store around the corner from us, they had a Xbox Series X traded in. And I was like, really? I said, so it's cheaper. I was like, okay, cool. She said, we had an S traded in. And I was like, no way. And it in my mind just started turning, and I was like, I can get both of my kids an Xbox at this point now because my youngest been asking for one for like the last probably month or so. because my oldest daughter had the X in her room, so she wanted one too. So my youngest was like, "Oh, can I get one too?" And I was like, "I got the money," because it only ended up costing me like $50 out of pocket for both systems. And I traded the controllers in and got the controllers in that came with the systems, and got the Aqua Shift controller for the S, and I got the post red one for the X. And they have their own color controllers now too. So my kids had an early Christmas, I guess. But I was doing a lot, SLoMo. That's what I was doing a lot. So there's 3 Xboxes in my house and 1 PlayStation. So, but yeah, I'm one of those console people that spend a lot of money on consoles. So, you know,
you're not alone. We see so many console guys that, I mean, like over the course of a generation, they'll buy like 3 or 4, you know, of a one particular console, and that's not even what they end up spending. So they end up getting like multiple platforms. So you know, it is.
Before we move on from the Scarlet Nexus, because we really never got to, but it's we talked about it. So what do you think, Scarlet Nexus? First of all, do you think? Because the first thing I thought when I saw this game hit Game Pass is, I bought this game and I should have waited. And and you shouldn't wait. No, I'm glad. Listen. I'm not saying that I would have waited. It's just the fact that I see it happen, and I had a feeling because all of the news was coming out. It's like Scarlet Nexus is going to be in Game Pass, and that was probably just some stuff that got leaked out early that they didn't want to get leaked out, because every time we hear anything about a game coming to Game Pass, 90% of the time it's right.
Did that come out again? Wasn't it the Xbox account that leaked it by accident?
They leaked it by accident. They said that Scarlet Nexus was in there.
Which every time that's happened, the game does
eventually shows up in there.
Remember when Phil Spencer just casually said the Control was going to Game Pass, and people was like, huh, what?
They came out and said, we have no plans to putting our game in Game Pass. Came out and said it.
And they have to do that. Like Bandai Namco said, we have no plans of putting Scarlet Nexus in Game Pass. But like, no one believes you because they have the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox has got your mark. I knew it then.
Yeah.
When they hey, we have no plans of putting Scarlet Nexus on Game Pass. Whatever, bro. It's gonna be it's not gonna be there at launch.
Yeah, it's not gonna be there at launch.
What, like 3 months ago?
3 months ago, and it's in there, which is still pretty early. Let's be for real. It's still early.
Now look. Now we, in regards to you talking about, I should have waited.
Well, should have people have waited?
No.
Yeah, I agree.
Play a game that you want to play.
Well, if you want to play it and you want to buy it, yeah. If it's a game that you're on a fence with, then wait.
Yeah. Look, if you're not quite certain about the game, you're interested, but you're not really feeling it like that. Sure, if you think it's gonna go in the Game Pass, make that kind of decision. I was sold on that game the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like I played through it twice now. Like, why waiting to do that? That would have been a mistake for me. I spent the $60, got it on Steam, thoroughly enjoyed the hell out of it.
Right.
Played it through with Yuito, played it again with Kasane to see her side of the playthrough to get the full story. Loved it. The combat's awesome. As I've said before, I feel like it's a better version of Astral Chain. It actually has like a very similar plot to Astral Chain, where you're like kind of like the last city on of humanity left,
right,
with these monsters that are trying to take out humanity. But the story is, in my opinion, better than Astral Chain's story. The characters are better. I think in Astral Chain, your main character is a twin. I believe I remember. But it's like, it's one of those stories where you don't really have a personality, and they give you the ability to modify the look of your character, which was like, it was a nice character creator, but like there was no real personality to your character whatsoever.
Right.
And Scarlet Nexus, Yuito and Kasane are very, very different. They do have personalities. They're fully fleshed out characters. It's a really good game.
Yeah, Luca said, did you start Tales yet? Waiting for your impressions before she buys it.
I've started Tales. I'm not very far in. So far, I'm liking it, but I don't want to. I like it. I can't really say too much more than that. I'm still gonna play it. It's just that I wanted to finish Kana before going full in on
What?
Tales. So Luca, I'll let you know next week
How
on that
far
because
in?
I'll have Kana finished probably tomorrow,
How
and I'll
many
really start digging on Tales of
Tales?
Arise this weekend.
How many Tales games have you played up until this point?
I've played Vesperia and I've played
Va-
Bresseria, whatever it's called, the one begins with a
Bussaria.
B.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't
Bussaria.
played. I haven't finished.
Vaspria.
Yeah, I haven't finished that one. Um, I didn't like Tales games.
You do
I like
Symphona.
them, but I don't like love them. But and the other one, the one that people say Berseria is way better, but I just haven't had the time to really focus in on it.
Got you.
But I do this. I like so far the way the Tales of Arise story has started out, and what I played in the demo really like made me love the combat. So I know it's like combat wise, it's going to hit for me. Story wise, I like where it was going so far. I think I only played like 2 or 3 hours before I stopped playing it. But it's still it's still installed. Like it's definitely next up. I just need to finish Kana first. So.
Rodimus said, "What is Kana? Does he mean Kina?"
It's not called Kina.
He said,
here's the thing. Don't try to get on me for mispronouncing something when I'm actually pronouncing it correctly. How is it that people don't know this? It is Kana, Bridge of Spirits, not Kina, Bridge of Spirits.
What's up? What's a shout out to the whole boy Gaming Room Persona. Shout out to you, bro, for coming through.
What's up, Persona?
Man, shout out to you, yo. Hey man, they gonna always get on you about that Kina, man. So the developer did you cuz man, that's what it looks like when you if you look at it, it looks like Kina.
Bruh.
Did the developer say Kana?
Yes.
The developer don't even. The developer doesn't know how to. The developer doesn't know how to pronounce the game either. Then.
So instead of admitting that you don't know how to pronounce the game, everybody else is wrong.
I'm just going off of what letters and like words in letters look like when you read them out loud. Gosh, that's all we're doing. No, but. Oh man, that's funny. We're just messing with you, though, SLoMo. But so
Scarlet Nexus, are you? Because you didn't finish it. So
I didn't finish. I'm on. Oh yeah, I'm going to. Well, I'm. This ain't really doing nothing for me because I already own the game. So, but no, I'm going to go back and finish it. It's just like I said, Destiny's new season came out around the time, and it's just been all downhill ever since then. But I definitely, because I'm like on what is it, phase 6? Maybe 7. I think 7. It's fun to do. The game is phenomenal. But the only reason I haven't jumped back in recently is because I gotta remember everything that I was like. The combat is so. It's something that you just don't jump right back into and know exactly what you're doing as soon as you do it. No, for me, because the first I said, what the, I was like the first, no, it's very intuitive, but it was like when I haven't played it in like over 3-4 weeks, it's like, what combinations go with what?
Hold on. Luca in the chat wants you to ask you a question. How do you read Sean, Forte?
What?
Look at
there's two. Well, no, there's two different Seans though. There's that Sean. There's a Sean with an H in it. I mean, there's names. You know.
Okay, so you actually know someone. Look, I actually know someone.
I know.
Someone who was named Kina before. It wasn't spelled like Kena. Okay, and I actually know someone that has been named Kana before, and it wasn't quite spelled the way they spell it.
Why does it look like Luca went to look this up and see exactly what the actual dictionary verbiage of it is? That's what it looks like.
Or maybe she just like found what Ember Lab said it was. I don't know.
I mean, Ember, hey, I don't really care. I'm just giving you a hard time because Erodimus is giving you a hard time.
You and Erodimus are wrong. Y'all should be giving yourselves a hard time. Look in the mirror and ask why you are the way you are. That's what y'all should be doing.
Oh Lord,
now,
here we go.
Now look.
Go ahead, man.
In regards to the Scarlet Nexus, I thought here's another thing in regards to comparison to Astral Chain. I thought Astral Chain's combat was overly overcomplicated.
Oh, it's very overcomplicated for what it is, and you got to play it on a Switch.
And then you got to play it on a Switch with those trash Joy-Cons.
Well, I never played it with Joy-Cons. I played with a Pro controller. Probably the best controller that has ever been made.
What, the Switch Pro?
The Pro controller? Man, that Switch Pro controller is by far the best controller that's come out.
It's a good controller, but
if you don't go down this whole the haptic feedbacks that the PlayStation 5 controller, I mean, for the time that the Pro controller was out, which was that generation, it was better than the Xbox and PlayStation 4 controller. 30 plus hours.
It's great for Nintendo because the Joy-Cons are that bad. Like
so it's only great because the Joy-Cons are bad.
Yeah, it's a mandatory purchase.
It's literally
Switch. You need to buy a Switch Pro.
It's literally better than the Xbox controller, SLoMo. It's better, and it's better than the PlayStation 4 controller. It's a better controller.
It is not better than the X. Stop it.
You
I'm
dude.
not get into this argument with you.
Okay, let's go.
Look,
I met a girl named
about the combat, right? So combat wise, like I thought it was really intuitive. And I like how as you progressed, you grew in the combat where you could, instead of just borrowing the power of one of your teammates, you could borrow multiple ones at once. Like I thought, and then how your enemies, I mean, you could take them down using your favorite powers if you wanted for the most of them, but for some of them, you actually had to use the correct ability that actually worked for the weaknesses of that enemy. I thought that was really, really good. I really enjoyed the combat of the game. I thought it was good, man. And the characters are fine. Look, if you're into anime, you're probably going to really like the story for Scarlet Nexus because it has all the typical anime character archetypes that people like. The evil, angry girl that looks like she's 12. There's that one. There's the annoying, nerdy guy with the glasses that you can't stand. There is the stoic, basically Lightning from Final Fantasy character Kasane, basically, right? So it's just like it has all of those archetypes that people enjoy. So it's a good game. People should check it out, especially if you got Game Pass now. If you missed out on it when it first came out, then look, you gotta know if you got Game Pass, like why wouldn't you play it? It's there. You already subscribe to the service. Just install it and get
That's
it
true.
out.
That's true. So what do you?
On the
I was going to ask you. What do you think? The biggest thing with Avengers. Do you think this is going to do anything to help or salvage and save this game?
No. Look, if people want, it's Avengers, right? So Avengers is MCU super popular. If you wanted to play that, you bought it.
You bought it already.
So
yeah.
I don't think there is anyone out there that hasn't already checked out from it, that hasn't already played it. Now, that said, there could be some people that's like, maybe I'll just run through the campaign, and they may really, because the campaign is awesome. It's got an awesome campaign. Kamala Khan is great. They really nailed her character. They did a great job. All the voice actors are really good, actually. Although, I think some people didn't like, I can't remember who did Thor. May have been Nolan North. I can't remember, but people didn't like Thor, but I thought Thor was good. I thought the campaign was great. It's the end game that falls short for a looter shooter. Now, if you're the kind of person that doesn't even like looter shooters, then that probably won't bother you at all. You probably just want to play through the story and get to the end. You're not going to care about the Avengers Initiative stuff.
Right.
Maybe you want to do the DLC expansions that are free, that give you the additional characters. They got Kate Bishop, they got Hawkeye, there is Black Panther. The Black Panther one apparently is really good. I haven't gone through all those yet, but
Right.
this is a game I think that if it's ever going to have any legs, Square Enix needs to get crossplay going on it, because each individual platform's community is way too small.
Way too small
to support it. I installed on PC, and I've reinstalled it multiple times trying to get back into it, and there's nobody to play with.
Right.
Like I'll matchmake to do these missions, and I'll be there for minutes trying to get somebody on, and it's just not happening. So I just gotta run through it solo. And it's like AI running for the other Avengers, but the AI is stupid in this game. So they're just like completely worthless. So it's just it's kind of a disappointment, but maybe you'll get another a boost of life on Game Pass. I doubt it.
It'll get a boost of life, but I don't think it's going to be anything substantial.
On PS Now or PS Plus, was it?
No, it was on PS Plus. I mean PS Now. It was on PS Now.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's PS Now. So well, if that ain't save it, ain't nothing gonna save it, because there's more people playing on that platform than anything.
Well, there's not.
Well, not on PlayStation. Yeah, PS Now. Yeah, they should be.
Not going to sign up for that just to play.
They should sign up for all the other great games that are on that service that people kind of forget about.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, great conversation. But I do want to jump over to the next one. Let's talk about Christopher Judd and his revelation that he told everybody on Twitter today because of God of War being delayed. Go ahead, SLoMo, because I know you read into it and you were talking about how he came out and said some personal issues and stuff that he was basically dealing with over the time, because they did come out and say that God of War was being delayed until 2022. I know me and you talked about when they first showed this game off and they put that 2021 moniker at the bottom of it. We were like, ain't no way. That game ain't coming out in 2021. I don't
know a single person that saw that and really was like, yeah, that's coming out at the end of 2021. I think everybody figured this is going to get bumped out of 2021.
Yeah.
But all that said, we saw Christopher Judd's tweet, and I want to pull it up because I thought it was it was cool of him to come out and speak on it, although I felt like he didn't have to do that.
He did.
His personal business ain't none of our business. He didn't need to let us know anything. But it was cool of him to come out and explain it for those who may have been disappointed with the game not coming out this year. But I mean, the man's going through it. Like the dude had back surgery, was it double hip replacement, and a knee surgery. So like, I know one of my good friends was born with a defective hip. Eventually got his hip replaced as an adult, and I remember everything that he went through before, like as far as the pain he would go through before he got his hip replaced. To get both your hips replaced, wow! Like that, back surgery and knee surgery on top of that. Like this dude probably wasn't able to walk at some point,
Right.
So that's like there's a lot going on there, and it makes sense that he's the main character of the game, and they need to mocap him doing things. If he can't walk, he can't move, then that's pretty important to actually getting the game done, and it makes a lot of sense. What about you? What did you think about that?
The first thing when I saw it, I was like, man, that sucks, because God of War is literally my favorite PlayStation, IP. And it's the one game I always tell people that I put Destiny down to play because it was that good. And I would do it for any God of War, but that one was very special. And, I already had set myself up to know that game wasn't coming in 2021. But hearing this being probably it probably was one of the major reasons, because definitely he has to do mocapping. That was one of the reasons they changed actors and stuff for Kratos, because they kind of felt like he fit the build a little better more, because he was going to be doing all of the acting in character along with doing the voice. So not having him available on set to be able to do stuff like that because of his, personal issues he was having, really does speak to the reason that this game did ultimately get delayed. Is it the only reason? Probably not, but it's still a reason nevertheless. And I just feel like the first thing that I thought is just like, kind of like, man, that sucks, because I know that a lot of people want to play this game, and he didn't have to do that. Sony didn't say anything about this. Cory Barlog didn't say anything about this. Santa Monica didn't say anything about this. They basically just said, we're just delaying the game, and people just, and they kind of knew that people were just kind of thinking that the game wasn't going to come out in 2021. So it was kind of more of a, like, we don't have to really say why the game's not coming out, because most people didn't believe this game was coming out in that time anyway. They didn't say for polish or anything. Normally when a game gets delayed, they say, due to, unforeseen issues, not being able to be in the offices and stuff like that, we had to delay the game. But none of
that's why a lot of games have been delayed.
Yeah.
A lot of games that rely on mocap or performance capture, if you want to go that deep into like how like what kind of mocap is being used, weren't able to do that, or had limited opportunities to do that during the pandemic, and not being able to go into offices and stuff like that. So that makes total sense. Even if he was fully healthy, they probably would have had issues trying to get that kind of stuff done anyway.
Well, that's also one of the reasons, going over to the Xbox side of it, I think that's why we really haven't seen any real major updates on something like Hellblade 2, because that game is heavily based on all of the mocapping that they do with Jurgensen and stuff inside of the game and stuff. So I think, any studio that has issues right now, especially if they're heavily into mocap, you're going to see this. And like I said, I appreciate him coming out. Like I like what your tweet said. You said that, his personal business isn't something that we really need to know of, but you really loved his candidness when it came to basically just letting people know about that, because as much as, it's not our business stuff, he understands and knows that a lot of people are really looking forward to this game, and he kind of has this understanding to himself and just gamers in general that I'm kind of one of the reasons why this kind of happened. And who knows when this game is actually going to really truly release. But I think a lot of people kind of just took this information and did some stuff that didn't need to really happen with it. But I'm just happy to know that, the game is still, it's still coming. But, I just hope he takes care of himself, because that's the one thing about game development, everything, and a lot of things that a lot of these people don't really realize is, this shows that Sony's willing to look out for people before the game. They could have easily done mocap or something like that, had somebody else come in to do the mocapping, because the voice and stuff probably was already done when it comes to being inside the studio. They probably had to get some stuff done when it came to like voicing Kratos, when it comes to in the element of him doing the actual mocapping. But overall, I like the fact that they said, this isn't going to work unless he's here. We're not going to do anything to try to force this situation to get the game out. Yeah, we're not trying to do that. We'll just wait.
A similar stature or whatever to just do the movements and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. And I think that is the way. That should be the beginning and end of the conversation. Just be happy that we're still getting a great game, and celebrating the fact that there is a publisher out there that will look out for people and not just the bottom line. Not saying the bottom line doesn't matter, but they know overall that game is going to be a better game if they do what they need to do when it comes to, taking care of the people first. And I think that's always the thing.
By the way, I did want to kind of address morons out here.
Go ahead.
And I'm not going to say names, because like the names of people who say things like this don't deserve to be said. But just like people saying, oh, well, like trying to match up the timelines and say, oh well, like that his injuries and his surgeries don't have anything to do with it. Like, are you a medical professional? Do you know how, like, they're not going to give him every surgery all at once? Like,
right.
some people just really show their lack of intelligence
Mm.
so easily, and yet they be the loudest people saying the most nonsense, and it's just like, what? Like, look, more than likely, and actually, I that ain't even more than likely. My wife is a medical professional. I know this for a fact. They're not going to give him all the surgeries all at once. It's going to be a process. So, like, if he say this started in August 2019, we don't know when he had his last surgery and last rehab. So,
right.
people need to just stop trying to, console war over someone's health, over a game being delayed or whether it wasn't delayed. Have some class for once in your damn life, and act like an adult.
Yeah. That's kind of the only thing that I had to say about that. But shout out to Christopher Judd for actually bringing that information to light. Without him saying that, we would have never knew that this was part of the cause, not the only probably cause, but part of the cause of why this happened. And you know what? Gamers are going to be a little bit more flexible with the fact that this game is going to be delayed to the point where whenever Sony says it's ready, because now they know there's more extraneous circumstance around the game versus it just being polished. So that's always a great thing. But Sony, SLoMo, let me ask you something. How long ago did we get a leaked picture that was up by accident of a studio being purchased by the name of BluePoint Games?
I would say it was when it was supposed to be announcing the purchase of Housemarque, which was what, like May?
Yeah. And guess who got acquired today, SLoMo?
BluePoint, like everyone knew, like the worst kept secret. Even the fake PlayStation insiders nailed this one, which is
Lord.
like, it's a layup at this point. I mean, like, how could you not get this one right? Clearly, BluePoint was going to be acquired, and for good reason. Like, this is a very, very high quality developer, absolutely the best in the industry at taking established properties and remaking them and having them be high quality games that are modernized, or not really modernized because they don't really change too much from what the game was before, but really bring a game back and it being just as good as it was before, and really satisfying that nostalgia factor that a lot of people will have, like with the previous game, and that nostalgia fuels people into kind of like really overblowing the game into something that it really isn't, but them still being able to even satisfy those people too. Like, BluePoint is really good, and I think there was a outside of just that was the announcement that their next game is going to be not a remake.
Yeah, the original IP.
Well, they didn't say an original IP. What they said was it was going to be not a remake, so it could end up being, say, a sequel to something.
Oh, it could be.
But it's just definitely not going to be a remake or a remaster or something else, which is cool, which is interesting, which means we're going to get to see if BluePoint can create and not just recreate. Like, we know that they are excellent at recreating something that was already done, but can they make a good story on their own?
Mm-hmm.
Can they make all new game design and game mechanics that are solely their own and not taking something from something else and making sure that it works perfectly the way it should? Can they create environments that aren't a recreation of something else? Like, this is a opportunity for them that I'm really interested in seeing how it turns out.
Yeah, I just find it real funny that acquisition season turned around to be in Sony's favor, and when it was supposed to be, Microsoft's.
Shout out to Big Cloud in the chat. What's up, Big Cloud?
What's up, Big Cloud, bro? How you doing, man?
Bot Cloud as
Oh,
people
Bot
have been
Cloud?
calling him.
Wait.
Bot Cloud.
Did he have a change of scenery on his console of choice or something?
I have no idea.
Because
you know
that
where the Bot Cloud thing came from, but he's Bot Cloud now.
Well, you do realize that Big Cloud. You do know that Mr. Professional, has one of that man. I don't know where his loyalties lie with it. I don't think he really probably doesn't have any loyalties. At first, when I first met him, he was like all PC. Then he all of a sudden, changed the channel over to a blue tint. So now I'm thinking like, are you PlayStation? But now you're Xbox. Listen, man, I don't know what you are, Big Cloud, but I appreciate you being here because you still part of the family. You Scumcast for life, Scum Lord, and all that other good stuff. But so when it comes to BluePoint, do you think, well, first of all, by proxy, they acquired another studio through FireSpite, SLoMo, and this is something I didn't know because you had brought it up to me. But tell me how this kind of happened with the acquisition by just owning FireSpite.
I'm trying to get the name of the studio though, even though they're being kind of like merged into. So this studio they got acquired. I'm gonna get their name in a minute, but they got acquired. And they got kind of merged into FireSpite, now boosting the number of developers at FireSpite to like 250.
Yeah.
So let me go find them.
That's actually a pretty big studio now.
Yeah. I mean, FireSpite wasn't a small studio anyway. They're formerly Sony Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now you can kind of expect, because they've done some VR stuff before, and I think their last game before they got acquired was not VR, but there's talk that they're doing like a narrative-driven horror kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they are doing multiple games, or they're developing multiple games at this time. Where is? Go ahead and keep talking, man.
No. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, but the one thing that I always say about acquisitions and stuff like this, it's always good for the end user, because first of all, these studios have more budgeting, more funding to allow themselves to make the creative process a lot easier for themselves. So I know a lot of people sit there and say, well, okay, what kind of games do they make and stuff like that? And I really haven't heard anything negative or bad about people talking about this studio or anything. I just think this is another great move from Sony to tie up multiple developers.
I mean, you see what they're doing, right? They're acquiring studios that they're definitely competing in this era of consolidation. But they're doing it differently than the way Microsoft and Tencent are doing it. We also know that Netflix acquired Night School Studio, which is the maker of Oxenfree and After Party. I really like Night School Studio. They make really, really great stories in their games.
Oxenfree's a good game.
Yes, which kind of like it's a good fit with Netflix if you think about it, because Netflix has a kind of like interactive TV shows. Like they had a Black Mirror episode that was kind of like a game, like kind of like a Telltale game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can't remember the name of it, but they also have my kids like watching Bear versus Wild, which is like a kids show that's nature educational kind of
Bear
thing.
Grylls?
No, Bear versus Wild is what it's called.
Oh, so not the bear. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and my kids watch it and like get to watch this crazy guy like do all kinds of wild stuff that I would never ever in my life do. But you get to choose what he does next, kind of stuff. And so like they're now gone a step from that to now they're acquiring studios, and I could definitely see, like, if you look at Oxenfree, that's a game that could run on your mobile phone.
Yeah,
that's a game. Actually, it is on your mobile phone, actually. But I could easily see that game being streamed through Netflix, and you using just touch screens to do it, or watching it on your smart TV and using your remote to control the characters, because there's nothing like quick twitch that you really need to do with those kind of games. They're very, very narrative, like driven kind of games. So like you're seeing this acquisition season going on, and Sony's doing it their way. They are acquiring studios they have relationships with. Firespite was kind of newish, but as I said before, they're former Sony Liverpool, so they had a relationship with a lot of people there. That still kind of fits. Housemarque has been essentially a exclusive second party developer for PlayStation for years. So as BluePoint, they're only acquiring developers that they actually have relationships with. Rhymes is saying, so you're saying Microsoft acquiring Bethesda wasn't organic? See, this is where people, just because I say they're doing this thing and I say that Microsoft is doing something different doesn't mean that that wasn't organic. They do have a relationship with Bethesda, but Bethesda also was a multi-plat publisher. So it's still different. What would have been the same as Sony is if, like back in the day, Microsoft would have acquired BioWare.
Right.
That would have been the same because up until the point where EA took over BioWare, BioWare had only made games for Xbox. So if they would have acquired them at that time, that would have been the same as what has happened with Sony and Housemarque and Sony and BluePoint. Now, Bethesda, them having a great relationship with ZeniMax is akin to Square Enix having a great relationship with Sony. Now, if Sony went and acquired Square Enix, then we could say they're kind of doing the same thing. But I don't think Sony will ever do anything like that. The most they're going to do is continue to lock down timed exclusives for a lot of Square Enix's games.
Right.
And that's cheaper. And they don't have to spend billions upon billions of dollars to make that happen, to keep that from the competitor. They can just keep it from the competitor up until the point where that game is no longer a hot commodity, and then it finally shows up on the competitor's platform. So, like I said, they're doing things different. Like Microsoft is looking for filling out a portfolio. They're trying to. They got a lot of developers now. They're trying to get more.
Well,
publishers too, but even the developers they got haven't put out games yet. So,
or they put out games on other platforms already, and they gotta wait.
Exactly, but even then, you kind of see some of the pedigree of these developers with Deathloop and Psychonauts 2, where these games have been reviewed fairly well, received fairly well by a lot of people, and so you know what they have in store. Not just that, last year with Wasteland 3, and you see that they Outer Worlds, by the way, they pumped money into these developers and their games to have them reach a bit of a higher quality than they were before. And you can kind of see the potential here, where if Microsoft just continues to stay out of the way of these developers, give them the creative freedom that they need, and the high quality ones they have like Obsidian and Arcane will flourish in that. I think what I've always said about them is that that's a double-edged sword when you don't really give any guidance, because then I think like the compulsion. You good? Okay. Yeah, I think that the compulsions in the Undead Labs are not at a place where they can just be given the creative freedom to do whatever without some kind of guidance to help them make sure that that game is of utmost quality when it comes out. But this again goes to why Sony and Microsoft are doing things differently. They're in two different places, so they need to, if they're going to be acquiring developers, to try to protect what they have from the competition, not just Microsoft, but Tencent, not just, and Amazon is still out there. Embracer Group, who has like 1,000 developers under their belt. Like, there's a lot of competition for developers out there, and so that's what they're doing. What do you think about BluePoint, man?
No, so going back to, so I want to say something that Rodimus just said. He said, SLoMo, are you saying that Microsoft acquiring Bethesda wasn't organic? Yeah, I know, I seen it. No, I was going to say with that, I think that was one of the organic ones because they had such a good working relationship with them over the course of a generation and a half, going all the way back to Xbox 360 and even the original Xbox when they came to Oblivion. So of all of the ones that they made lately, I think those have been all really good moves. But I just think when it comes to BluePoint and the acquisition of them, I just feel like it is a great move because it fills a need that Sony has, especially when it comes to the making of recreation of games that's already been made. A studio that can like kind of port their stuff over, like Nexus, that actually they did earlier this year to help them port games over to PC. You have a development house that can bring back older IPs and refresh them for a new generation.
Bring all those games over here.
Yep, bring all those games over, and then like you said, depending on what their next fully featured IP that they create is actually going to be, it actually makes them stand out amongst all the other studios and stuff. And plus, it's something new. It's something more refreshing that people didn't get a chance to really see from them. So I think that's also a good thing. I think when it comes to like the comparison between what Xbox is doing and what Sony is doing, you hit it right on the head. But I also think if you think about it even a little bit more, Xbox is trying to fill a portfolio because Game Pass is the platform. And Game Pass, and when you have, it's just like Disney Plus. How do you make the platform take off? You don't just go out and just bring in middle-of-the-line developers that nobody really truly knows anything about, because it would take, those people have to be convinced by playing those games or even being interested in those games to make you want to come to the platform, subscribe to the platform. But if you do that with something like Bethesda, you do that with something like a whole bunch like Ninja Theory or something like that, games studios that people already know and love when it comes to the games that they put out, it kind of makes it like, oh, I can't wait to see what next game that they do. This is one of my favorite developers. You see Deathloop because of the pedigree that Arcane has out there. It makes people excited to actually jump into a service like that, on top of the other things that they do when it comes to like the games we talked about today, when it comes to Scarlet Nexus and Marvel's Avenger. Those are acquisitions in themselves, because those are games that are being put into a platform that normally wouldn't be available to you unless you paid for them. So that's the direction that Microsoft is going in, where Sony is saying, listen, we want to build an experience that people want to pay big money to be a part of. When it comes to going to the movie theater and seeing that movie, like when we went to go see Endgame and we went to go see Infinity War, the first place you saw that movie for most people was not going to be on your living room couch. You weren't going to wait for the movie to go out, let all your friends go see it, and come home and be like, I'll just wait for it to hit DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah, you didn't want to risk the spoilers.
Exactly.
It was hard enough avoiding spoilers before the actual game.
The movie came out
in the theater. There's people just spoil. You'd be watching a random YouTube video.
It a spoiler.
Had nothing to do with Marvel, and somebody in the chat be like, "Iron Man dies at the end." Like, damn it! It's just like you can't avoid it.
Well, So, but that's the thing for me. That's what Sony is trying to do. Sony wants that to be like remember what Jim Ryan said. He was like, Sony games are experiences. We want them to be must-see blockbuster TV type events and stuff. And that's not, and every studio is not going to give you that, but they want the perception of that to be what it's going to be with all of their studios when they bring out a game. Some studios are going to hit like that because they have the names behind them, like the Naughty Dogs, the Insomniacs, the Santa Monica Studios, even Sucker Punch. They have that name behind them. They're trying to build more studios like that. And I think that's the thing that they are trying to do. And it's not saying that Microsoft isn't trying to do the same thing, but Microsoft is trying to acquire the studios that have already done that. Sony's trying to build studios from the ground up to actually do it organically to fit the needs of what they're doing. And that's what, the difference between the two platforms. Neither one is wrong. They're both very much unique in their own ways that they're going about it. But I'm just happy to see, studios be celebrated for the games that they put out. BluePoint did an amazing job. I think people are finally seeing games like Days Gone, especially since it came over to PC after all the patches and it running on a PS5. People are looking at that game differently now. When it first came out, that game was a hot mess. But people look at it now, it's like, yo, if this game came out in the state that it is right now, this game would be freaking amazing.
No, there's something. There's a question in the chat.
No, I see a random said, "Who killed Iron Man?"
No. This.
Oh, what happened?
Shout out to RRD, because I heard you say this, and I was like, I'm not. He's on a roll, so I'm not going to.
What did I say?
Instead of saying Santa Monica, you said Santa Hanukkah.
I did say Santa Hanukkah.
And RRD in the chat just quoted it.
Santa
Hanukkah. Imagine if that was the name of the studio. Man.
Santa Hanukkah, put a red hat on it, man. That's all you gotta do. Red hat on it with a nice little green little ball at the end of it. Put it on Kratos' head, you know.
Oh
Santa Hanukkah Studios.
So the question from Zero Cool was if Xbox buys another studio, which is there's no if, that's definitely
it's definitely gonna happen.
Who you guys think it is? And then he says BluePoint is a great developer too. I do agree about that.
What's going on, Lady Foxfire? Nice to see you here.
Lady Foxfire's in the house. What's up? Yeah, I don't. I think they might acquire Asobo next.
I think they need to acquire Asobo next.
Yeah, Asobo's good. Asobo is a big developer. They already have a 10-year contract with them for
Flight Sim.
Develop for Flight Simulator, which is,
that's crazy.
Some people say it's not a game, and I don't care. I'm never.
Well, they even said it's not a game.
Well, yeah, but
they came out and said it's a simulator, which it technically is. But
yeah,
you install it on a console, then it's a game.
Here or there, like it's the Xbox division is developing it or publishing it, so
it's a game. It's a game.
But that's it's apparently very well done. You're never going to catch me finding out, so it is what
you want to play Flight Sim? You don't want to you don't want to fly over your house at
no
at 20 knots and see how fast that really feels?
No.
You should fly over your house just to see if the solar panels are there.
They probably are. And no. I won't find out. But they got that, so you might as well lock them down. But regardless of that, they make a really cool they made a really cool indie game called Plague Tale Innocence.
Yes,
if you haven't heard about it,
really good.
Plague Tale Innocence is pretty good. I think a Plague Tale was good for what they were able to achieve as an indie developer with a limited budget, but like the sequel that they're working on, that's going to be I think they said that's going to be in Game Pass at launch, right?
Yep, they did.
Yeah, that. So I want a little bit more out of that. Like a Plague Tale had like these situations where, like with the rats and the fire, where it was more like a puzzle. Like you had to get past a certain area the way they wanted you to get past that certain area.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to kind of expand beyond that, give you a few more options and how to get through certain situations. Story-wise, I thought the game was on point, and the storytelling and voice acting was top notch. But from a game perspective, I want a little bit more from that next one, and hopefully they'll be able to achieve that with a bigger budget. But I think well, you have a developer that's got that shows that kind of potential, and they do something a little bit different than what your other developers in your portfolio already do, then I think that's somebody you might want to, lock in to make sure that stuff is exclusive to you. Now, what do you think? What do you think is the next one they're going to acquire?
Oh man, so many. I see people saying WB. They need, okay, so they don't need all of WB, but I truly feel like and this isn't just that I want Mortal Kombat to be on Xbox. I just feel like at a certain point, are you just going to give up all of the shooters to PlayStation? Not shooters, all of the fighting games to PlayStation. Is PlayStation going to be the only place to play, for the most part, all fighting games? Because in my opinion, Mortal Kombat is like the last hope that they have. Because I also think that would help them with Killer Instinct too. Because I think, it's a shame that Killer Instinct hasn't been a game that has been even thought of since earlier parts of the last generation. You know, it's a dang good IP. I love that IP a lot. I really didn't like it as much in arcades, but when it came to Xbox, I loved it. I played it a lot. Iron Galaxy did an amazing job of making that game before they got bought up by Amazon. So I feel like not only would that help them just be able to help with the Killer Instinct IP, but it would do a lot for just bringing over another IP when it comes to like Mortal Kombat or something that has a big name, like Street Fighter being on PlayStation. That's a big name. Now, and it's one of the parts of WB that is not really, I mean, it's intellectual property because Mortal Kombat does have movies and stuff, but the IP is more tied to video games than it is to movies. The video games came first and were made off of that. So it's not something that they can't, you know, they have the, you know, WB has the license for that. They can actually, you know, sell all that wholesale to Microsoft. And I always felt like that is the studio that makes the most sense to buy. Are there other studios out there that definitely would fit the bill for Microsoft to pick up, like you said, Asoba and everything? Absolutely.
Well, isn't the whole WB thing already kind of decided? Like, as far as, because I feel like they did. It is. That's the thing, though. It's like, I know a lot of people talk about when it comes to all the other IPs and stuff. I think that they did say that they were not just the IPs, but the studios themselves.
The studios
like
themselves.
Two of them have already been sold off.
But
yeah,
but that's the
ones,
well, that's the thing. NetherRealm is still there. And that's why I don't talk about WB in general. Just all they need is, if they could just get NetherRealm, it would do worlds for Xbox, because
I really feel like they could use Monolith Games more than
well, no, because Monolith, okay, well, I just feel like Monolith, because they make the Shadow of Mordor games, which are really, really good. If you didn't play them, they're really good. But
and if they acquired them, then they would be acquiring that license, the patent for the
would they?
System.
Oh, for the Nemesis system, for the Nemesis system they would. But let me ask you this: what's more important? Do you think they need a studio that can give them more like what Mortal Kombat can give them, or do they need a studio like NetherRealm? Because I just feel like they have a bunch of studios. Not saying that NetherRealm couldn't give them, not NetherRealm, like Monolith couldn't give them something that they don't have. You know, they can share that tech. I think you're looking at more the tech side of it, where all those other studios,
those developers excel at games that and genres that they don't quite really address.
They don't address right now.
But I think what Monolith could do would be more.
It could cross over between all the other studios.
It would
more
be more popular, because like I look, maybe this is I'm a bit biased here, and I'll admit that, because I don't really care for fighting games anymore. I haven't really played them since I was in high school, but I don't really care for fighting games that much. But all that aside, I kind of feel like a game like Shadow of War, it has more appeal across all demographics of gamers than you know, like, Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat. It's got a long staying IP, and they do a great job with Injustice.
That's another one you could but
Injustice.
But you wouldn't get that.
Right, like you
wouldn't get Injustice, because that's tied into the WB licensing with Batman and everything.
Which we could discuss the fact that, like, you know, Sony and Marvel are real cozy right now.
Yeah,
and they're the only ones that don't have an exclusive Marvel or exclusive superhero game at all, and they could go the DC route to kind of satisfy that outcry from the Xbox community. So maybe that is something they might want to, like, maybe not actually buy the entire license, but get a contract for that license for, like, say, like a decade or something, but then get the studio to make the games for it too. So you acquire the studio and then have that studio start building their own IP while they're also continuing to make the license games that you got the contract for. Then you can kind of choose after a decade whether you want to re-up on that or not.
Right. Capone's, Yeah, well, no, say Capono said you would think 23 studios is enough. I would tell you, Capono, that 23 studios can be enough if you hit the goals that you want to hit. But until you hit that goal, you keep growing.
23 studios give them, and look, you and I said this back on BRAP like 2 years ago. When they the first time we ever heard of what their goals were with Game Pass, we heard that they wanted to have one AAA game
every quarter.
And we laughed because back then they had just acquired.
They had 15 then.
No, they didn't even have that.
They didn't have. Like, that was before. Right after, that was before the
right
E3.
After they had just acquired Ninja Theory, Playground, Compulsion, Undead, and announced the creation of the Initiative. And so that got them up to like 9 studios at that point. And we were just like, you gotta have like at least 20 to even get close to try. And then you gotta hope that nothing gets delayed, which is going to happen. Then you gotta hope that there are going to be no games that go into development hell. Then you gotta hope that every single studio is going to be knocking it out of the park. That's just like, it's not reality. So you need kind of a little bit more than that, really. And if their goal is one AAA game every quarter, can 23 studios do that? Maybe.
Yeah.
But so far, what we know is they haven't even got close to that yet.
Right.
So, continue to keep building until you get there. I think they've mentioned this before, that it's important for them to not just build, but support the studios that they've already acquired and making the content, because that's the other half of it. Now you got the studios. Now you need to make sure those studios have everything they need to fully achieve their goals and actually make great games. Actually be what you hope they're going to be when you acquired them.
Yeah.
So
it's
there's levels to it.
Yeah, Zero Cool said Monolith would be a big pickup, and I mean, after hearing when you as much as Mortal Kombat would be, like you said, it would be a great get because it would definitely fill a need for not just IP that they'll be bringing that a lot of people love. It would also fill a need just for them to bring over and start probably hopefully development on Killer Instinct again. I do think I didn't think about the Monolith side of it due to the fact that engine and being able to use the Nemesis system could help in more games than just what they're making. Can you imagine? Right. Can you imagine that?
You get that patent, and now you can use that and say the Coalition's next game if you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could use that in I mean, look, I'm just throwing this out there. Indiana Jones. I don't know why you would, but.
Indy got a lot of nemesis in the game, so you can bring bear a lot of stuff.
Indy gets knocked out by a Nazi, and now that Nazi comes back. He was a soldier before. Now he's a general.
He's a general in the fourth platoon.
No, you can, but if you get that patent, you can use it however you want.
Right, exactly.
Your studios can choose to use it however they want.
Yeah. So closing out that, I think in general it's just really good that Sony's making these moves that people are definitely enjoying, and Microsoft will do the same thing, and we'll hear more in the future on that. Moving over to the next topic, we got Phil Spencer talking about Japanese games being brought to the Xbox. He was talking, he did an interview basically talking about Tokyo Game Show and how important it was. He said the Tokyo...
Did you watch that?
I did.
I did. I watched it too after the fact. I ain't watched. It was 4 a.m.
Yeah, it was really 4 a.m.
I was knocked out at 4 a.m. Yeah, so I watched the replay.
Exactly. He said the Tokyo Game Show is an important part of our commitment to the Japanese market and the Asian region overall. It is an honor to support the show and our Japanese partners. We're working with Japanese publishers every single day to increase our lineup of Japanese games on Xbox. We know it's really important to fans and customers on Xbox, and this is something we want to do. So this has been a long standing conversation between Xbox and China and Japan and just Korea in general. They do a lot better in Korea and Asia and stuff like that, but when it comes to Japan, it's it's slim pickings. It's even infecting the PS5 over there because a lot of people are mobile over there compared to the Switch and everything.
The PS5 has done very well. So like
they're selling well over there.
It's selling out. Although I'm pretty sure they didn't supply Japan with as many units as they did America and Europe. But still, it's still for the demand that they have. It's not sitting on shelves over there either. And I think they've said multiple times before in regards to Xbox, it's the fastest growing market for Xbox, which, you know, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it like it is what it is. That's great that it is growing over there, and they are addressing some of the issues with, say, like localization. I'll get into that a little bit later. But otherwise, like, I mean, their presence in Japan was so abysmal that any kind of improvement will make it the fastest growing market that you have, just because it was that bad before. But if you watch the Tokyo Game Show, their showcase for Tokyo Game Show, they came out and they showed a little bit of Redfall. Nothing like, I don't think any gameplay really. Like,
no, nothing real.
Like little quick, you know, shots of it. But one of the developers from Arcane Austin came out and said that they were fully localizing Redfall for Japan. They're getting separate voice actors to do the Japanese, and they showed that trailer that we had seen at E3 with the Japanese voice actors actually doing the voices for the main four characters that are the protagonists in the game. So I think that's a step in the right direction, because previously a lot of their games over there did not have any localization, and so if you're, I mean, of course you got some people that know English there, but if you really want to have a presence in that area, you need to actually address the culture of the Japanese and appeal to them in a way that they want to be appealed to. Have games actually being played in the language that's native to them. Make games that they enjoy, and a lot of the games that Americans enjoy aren't always the games that they care about. So, you know, there's a lot of like first party PlayStation games that are amazing that don't do super well in Japan, just because it's not really, you know, there's not a lot of demand for those kind of games there. So you have to kind of appeal to that. I did see a lot of games that I had never heard before. Not a lot, a few during the Xbox Tokyo Game Show that look like there'll be games that it looks like the Japanese would be into. And so it seems like they're trying to address it. Now, whether it turns out to bear fruit or not remains to be seen, but I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Shout out to KSI with the $5 super chat. Just got done with the reel. I'm so about to start watching from the beginning. Salute to the dynamic duel. Appreciate you.
Shout out to KSante.
Yeah.
I got watch on the reel tomorrow morning with him and the homie Everborn. The king of slander, as they like to say.
Listen, man, look, hey, if you still listen to this, man, I'm gonna need you to tell Mr. Everborn that he need to stay out of these spaces, man. this man, I swear he be in more. I don't even does that man do anything? Does he play games? Does he work? Because every time I look into his spaces, he up there talking to somebody in a space. Shout out to that dude. Shout out to all of you guys. Shout out to the for them in their show that they do. It's on Saturdays, right? Yeah, Saturdays at 10 a.m. What's the name of? I feel familiar with the name, but there's so many shows that's going around. What's the name of their show, SLoMo?
On Saturday?
Yeah. Him and Evermore.
You know what?
I know.
I have to look it up real quick, because I tune in just to argue with them.
Argue with them, right? Exactly.
But I don't even. Let me find it.
It's like I just look at it as the KS Sante and Everborn show. That's what I look at it as. Like, you know, it reminds me
the Gaming Circle podcast.
Yeah, the Gaming Circle podcast, and it just reminds me of me and SLoMo when we first met each other. That's exactly what their dynamic is, and it's so good. But shout out to you for coming through, bro. But no, when it comes to the statements around Japanese, it's Microsoft. Man, I gotta give it to them, man. They aren't going to give up the ghost on this one. I guess they finally came to I think they finally came to the consideration that it's a bigger, even though they don't sell enough there, it's still the fact that you want to at least have a presence there, because the moment you just give up on it, you're literally just giving up on a whole region. Yeah. It's like we always tell you, have your name, even if your name isn't spoken loudly, at least let it be spoken, because you never know what person can go to the store and be like, talking about Xbox is like, I got an Xbox, how do you like it? And that could be the person that convinces another person to get it. And we all know how word of mouth goes. It literally intensifies as more and more people talk about it. And if it's something they like, it happens. For the longest, it just seemed like they would never make any real headway. And who knows how much headway they're really making now. They talk about how it's the biggest market that they're, that they're growing in as of right now, but they haven't really been growing in that market. So it really doesn't take a lot to do it. But
any growth
is ridiculous growth there. Yeah. So for me, it just comes down to, I'm just happy they didn't give up on it. And, I think part of the reason the S is the way it is because they built it with that particular fan base in mind, because of the situation in the housing and stuff. Your biggest, your top of the line system is literally like a refrigerator in our house, probably, because the thing is huge. But the S fits it very, very well. And Game Pass being a portable thing that you could use in multiple ways, either on a PC or console. They're also
trying to appeal to how they like the game too, because if you saw, they actually had like a full-fledged commercial that was like a good 2 minutes long of just Japanese gamers playing.
When the last time we got a commercial that long?
Like never.
Right, never no 2 hours.
Playing xCloud and Game Pass in various different ways on laptops, tablets, phones, the actual consoles. Like it was a well done commercial. But if you're a Japanese game, you're looking at that just like, the implication is that I can play these games on damn near anything.
Right.
And so when you have a market where the market leader is a hybrid console handheld, then you need to kind of present an option where your games can be played in something that is not strictly just a console. And I think that's a smart idea for them. I think if they're ever going to get any kind of foothold of any kind of real market share in Japan, it's going to have to be something like that, where it's the mobile aspect of their platform is what. And with games that the Japanese actually want to play, the combination of those two things is what have to be successful for them.
That's true. So in general, I think it's a good move that they're doing what they're doing, and it only can go up from here. Can it really go down? I think it really is going to take off when Game Pass, they finally get the situation where that is a highly contributor to what they're doing inside of the gaming space, especially in other countries, because things like xCloud really haven't taken off as much as I know Microsoft wants it to. They just pretty much came out of beta where it's available everywhere. And once we can get off a browser for Apple, which I know is probably going to be something in the future, because they were talking about that in the court cases with between Epic and Apple, and that being one of the things that the judge talked about, the monopoly of that. I think you'll start seeing moves in that direction where they can get it actually native on the phone and stuff. And that's where I think it really, really will take off. But in general, it's a good thing. You really can't say it's anything but that, as much as it still doesn't sell as much as any other platform does there. Nintendo runs circles around them due to the fact that their system is geared to the way of life in markets like that. So, so last topic, we're going to talk about the Video Game Awards, the VGAs. Tim Keeley. You know who Tim Keeley is? Listen,
I've never heard of Tim Keeley.
Tim Keeley is my regional director at GameStop. my boss's boss. So whenever I hear Keeley, it's Tim. It's always Tim. Even though in Jeff's name is Jeff Keeley, it's Tim Keeley, and they're spelled completely different. So no, Jeff Keeley's awards are the ones that's going to be on December 9th. And there's been a lot of discussion inside of the gaming sphere, Twitter, Spaces, and all that other stuff like that about the games that we think will be nominated for Game of the Year. SLoMo, you have been a very, very big component of saying that there's going to always be that one situational indie that give me one that's going to be there for everybody to basically just wrap around and say, hey, this is the indie of the year that should be there and probably won't win. Pretty much just like how Hades was last year and stuff. So
and Celeste the year before.
And Celeste the year before that. And I think the last time an indie actually, what was the last time? Can we really say that Walking Dead was an indie game?
Yeah.
Because that was the last one that actually won it.
Telltale was, yeah.
At the time, yeah.
Games were at that time, yeah. They were
absolutely an indie game. Studio. And that was the last one that actually won that award at the Game Awards.
2011, I think.
Yep. Ever since then, it's been pretty much big title after big title that's kind of won it. So, starting with you, what do you think the nominations are going to be? For the stuff that's already out as of right now.
Let's see here. I think
5 games
for Game of the Year.
Yeah, 5 games are going to be nominated. We'll at least say 5 games.
Evil Village is a lock. I think that game is a lock for Game of the Year nomination. I think Ratchet and Clank will get the nod because Insomniac is beloved now.
Yep.
If they weren't, they were highly favored before, but I think they're beloved now, based on how they performed early on in this new generation. I think Psychonauts 2 would get the nod, based upon how well the gaming media received it, and its overall quality. Out of the indie category,
it's only one that I can think of.
Well,
one of them I haven't played yet, so it could be that one too.
I think Death's Door is going to get the nod for indie. I think it's the best indie game to come out this year. It might be the best game this year, period, in some people's eyes. But I think that it will be the one indie game that will get it. There's going to be a lot of games that are going to be deserving this year that aren't even going to get nominated. But I think Death's Door. What am I up to now? I said Ratchet and Clank, Death's Door, Resident Evil.
You got the 4.
Psychonauts 4. One more.
Yep.
Either Deathloop or Returnal.
I think it'll be Deathloop.
You think it'll be Deathloop?
I mean, it could.
I don't think Deathloop is a Game of the Year nominee. Just me personally, like it's not that game at all.
Yeah.
I don't think either of those games really are, like either of those two, Returnal or Deathloop, are deserving of Game of the Year. But I definitely can see one of them getting the nod. Or wait, no, scratch that. I completely forgot. I forgot the Nintendo effect.
So like, there you go. Let's go. Which one do you think it's gonna be?
There's always a token indie, and there's always a token in Nintendo game that gets the nod.
Yep. Let's go.
And I have probably Metroid Dread.
I don't think it's gonna be Metroid Dread.
Look, just take a random Nintendo exclusive. Doesn't matter. It's not gonna win, but it's gonna get nominated just because they love Nintendo like that.
Unless Metroid Dread comes out and blows everybody away. Okay, so I agree. Ratchet and Clank. I do think that's going to be up there because how can you not have Insomniac be a part of that? Especially when all the rage, especially with it being one of the few PlayStation 5 only exclusives that came out this year. I think that it's, and I think the sales are going to hold up to that too. So I think that's one. I do agree with you on the indie token. I think it's going to be Death's Door because of all of the games, the moment I saw that game the first time, knowing nothing about it, all I saw was a crow with a lightsaber in his hand, and it looked cool. And when I played it, it was even cooler. So I think that game is, I think that game for a lot of people, they slept on it, and I think and it was a cheap game too. It's $20, especially if you got it before it came out, bought it when it was on sale for $16. It was even more of a better value at that point. So I think Death's Door is the other one. Resident Evil, definitely agree with. I think Village cinematically really stands out when it comes to
going to win. That's my opinion. I think it's already, unless something that hasn't come out yet
takes the place of it. I agree with that.
Yeah, that really, really blows people away. I can't think of a single game that's yet to come out before the deadline that can do that. I don't think that's Battlefield 2042. No, I don't think Call of Duty's never going to get nominated. It's just not.
Never again.
It's too oversaturated. The people who vote for this don't even consider Call of Duty. Forza Horizon, as I told Erasmus in the chat, racing games are look. Keeley's Awards is biased.
They have a section for that.
Yeah, there's certain genres that just don't get nominated for Game of the Year. And racing games are one of those genres. It's never going to get nominated. So, like last Forza Horizon 3 and 4, 90 rated racing games, not even nominated. So Forza Horizon 5, it's not getting a nomination. It's just it is what it is. 6.
Far Cry 6.
If there was a Razzie Award for video games, that would be what Far Cry 6 would get nominated for. But no,
so I'm up.
I don't see anything else really that's coming out. That's still coming up. That is worthy. I'm about to actually start looking up what's the.
So I think so. So I said Death's Door, Resident Evil, and Ratchet and Clank. For my Mario game, my Nintendo game, I think Mario's Bowser Inside Fury is gonna be up there. I think that's gonna make it because that came out after the VGAs are right. It came out after the deadline, so I think I think that game's gonna hit. I think that game's gonna hit it because the game itself was great, but the Bowser Fury part so good, so freaking good, bro. A lot of people didn't get, I know, and there's a lot of people, especially here, that didn't get a chance to play anything like that. But outside for her Mario games, it really does stand out. And I think the only thing that will take its place is Metroid Dread. And that's if Metroid Dread just does something that a lot of people don't expect. It's something completely new and different. I think that's the case for that. And I think one of the games that you played this year, and Taz is one of Taz's favorite games. I think Scarlet Nexus is going to be up there.
Game of the Year?
I think so.
No.
I love that game.
Scarlet Nexus is one of the top 3 games I played this year, but nominated for Game of the Year? No.
You don't think so?
Absolutely. No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
Because it's an RPG.
So we're going to say that just because it's an RPG, it can't get nominated for Game of the Year?
It would have to be a RPG with a massive IP to get nominated.
Not necessarily.
Like Final Fantasy 7.
Not necessarily, because we never, like, Sekiro was one of those, or Sekiro, however you want to pronounce it, was one of those games that a lot of people didn't know anything about. Soulsborne games weren't all the rage back then, and that game hit Game of the Year.
RPGs though,
but it's not even an RPG.
It's like a soul genre now.
Yeah, it's a Souls genre now, but people didn't know anything about that, and they made it.
Like, okay, here's the other thing, right?
Oh, so we're gonna go off the popularity of the developer at this point now.
Yes. Look, there are developers that get passes. I'm not saying a Sekiro was not
popular,
deserving.
I'm not saying it definitely was deserving of the Game of the Year.
It was definitely deserving, but there's some developers that just they get whatever, like they're beloved. From Software is now beloved. At one point, it was Blizzard. That ain't happening no more for obvious reasons. At one point, CD Projekt Red was one of them. After Cyberpunk, never again. Rockstar is one of them. Naughty Dog is one of them. No matter what they do, it is, and not saying they don't deserve the accolades, but you just know they're getting, even if the game disappointed a little bit, it's still getting a nod. Bethesda proved year after game release after release that Bethesda Game Studios was a beloved studio of the gaming media, and that I don't think they ever deserved it.
All right, so if I go off of what you're saying, if I had to take, because I truly believe that Scarlet Nexus will be there, but if it isn't there, it's going to be replaced with Deathloop. Yeah.
I just don't get why you think. Look,
I don't. No. I don't think. Like I said,
Scarlet Nexus being in the running for RPG of the year.
I just think
that's a bet. Like, it will definitely be nominated for that, and probably lose the Tales of Arise, probably. But
would it lose the Tales of? But would it lose the Tales of Arise due to just the name that it being Tales, though?
No, but this is probably a lot of people feel like this is the best Tales game.
And I haven't played. That's what I'm saying. I haven't played Tales of Arise yet.
I mean, for like I said, I only played like 2 or 3 hours so far. So far, I think it's really good. I'm not saying it's better than Scarlet Nexus, but I'm not looking at it strictly from my point of view. I'm looking at it from like a overall point of view of like what gaming media tends to do when it comes to the Keighley Awards, the Video Game Awards, and what like I tend to see over time. And what I tend to see over time is that certain developers are always favored.
Right.
Slacko say I'm getting mad.
Yeah, he said, "Why is SLoMo getting mad?"
I'm not mad. I'm not even talking like aggressively. I'm just saying.
They used to you in these spaces, man. Raising your voice.
I'm just being honest here. I really enjoy Scarlet Nexus. I sung his praises earlier in the show. I don't think it's going to get nominated for Game of the Year. I just don't. I don't see it. It's not that kind of game that gets that kind of nomination. But if it is nominated, I will take the L and say I was absolutely wrong. But
you'll be happy. You'll be happy about it too.
Yeah, I think I can see it getting some soundtrack nominations.
Soundtrack's really good. Music's really good.
Excellent music. RPG nominee, I think it's a lock for that. Game of the Year, nah. So look, when Fire Emblem 3 Houses doesn't even get a nomination, I'm really like the last one that
what else came out that year? Disco
Elysium.
They
nominated Game of the Year nomination.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the highest. I still have yet to play that, but that's probably one of the most highest rated RPGs I've ever
I think Disco Elysium comes out. It's going to be nominated. It could be nominated for this year because it came out late last year. It wasn't on last year.
No, Disco Elysium. No,
are you sure?
Game initially came out like 2 years ago, I think.
Well, it depends on. Yeah.
It was a PC exclusive.
Oh, okay. So it did. Okay, got it. It's coming to console.
It's just coming to the console.
Oh, that's what it is. It just came to console. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it came out in October in 2019.
Okay, yeah. It can't win then because it's already been released.
And it won a bunch of awards in 2019. It won RPG of the Year. It won Narrative of the Year. It won a whole bunch of stuff. I think they swept every category they were in. Except for Game of the Year. I don't think they actually even got Game of the Year now that I think about it.
Interesting. All right, well.
Actually, now I'm about to look that up too.
I'm always looking stuff up.
Hey, look, I just want to be accurate.
Accurate.
So, yeah, that's the year Sekiro won Game of the Year. Yeah, it wasn't nominated for Game of the Year. That year, it was Sekiro, Control, Death Stranding, Outer Worlds. Yeah, Control was deserving.
Okay.
I think Control was deserving of a nominee.
What else was up there? Control,
Death Stranding. Death Stranding shouldn't have been.
Death Stranding should have been.
But again, as I said,
Packing Simulator should have never been there.
There are people who are favored. There are devs that are favored, and Kojima is certainly
there are people.
One of them.
There are people that are favored.
Right. Resident Evil 2 remake, which I think that could have won too, and Super Smash Bros, which actually came out in 2018.
It came out after the fact. It came out on the day of the Video Game Awards.
Right, but
because they announced
they always gotta have a Nintendo.
Yeah, so. they always gotta have a Nintendo game. Aronimus said, "Sorry, the true game of the year is Hades." Facts, I agree. It should have won last year.
Hades came out last year though, so if Hades came out this year, I think it would have a real shot.
If Hades would have came out this year, it would have won. It would have at least been on the stage for Game of the Years, and Death's Door wouldn't have been there. So they don't have 2 indie games up there. But so SLoMo.
People was mad last year when Ori didn't get the nod over Hades, and we're hating on Hades hardcore. And now I've seen some of them same people like Hades is amazing, so great. I'm like, you were hating on it.
How much of it was because they were hating on it because it was not nominated?
They were hating on it because it got nominated over Ori. That's all that was.
Mm-hmm. And Xbox didn't. Once again, Xbox didn't have anything showcased on the Game of the Year stage.
Yeah. You could say last year
Anonymous said if the director's cut or remake gets nominated, I'm done.
Well, I wouldn't say a director's cut.
I guess he's talking about Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima.
No, I don't think those.
Both those games have already.
Yeah, there's not enough different. In those games to warrant a renomination.
A renomination. Yeah.
A remake though, an actual remake, I think is deserving. Like when Resident Evil 2 remake and Final Fantasy 7 remake were nominated, I thought that was deserving.
Question.
Yeah.
When are we going to see the next Final Fantasy game, in your opinion?
Oh man,
I know that's a hard one. When do you foresee part 2?
2023.
And do you think 2023? And do you actually think this is going to be 3 parts, or do you think it's going to be more?
I think it's going to be 3 parts.
You think they're going to keep it like it was with the 3 CDs?
But not necessarily cutting
it the way that it was cut like that. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, probably 3. The thing is that, like, if you played the game, you know that the story has now veered well off the trail of the original game, and for narrative reasons, if you played the game, you know why.
Right.
But who knows where this goes? Like, it could go longer. Like, there's so much that's different now with the remake compared to the original game and the original story, that they could go very different ways with that.
Right.
And I'm here for it, of course, but I think if we were going to get it next year, we would have seen something from it by now. I don't think it's going to take as long as it took for the first one to come out. The first one was super late for a lot of development hell kind of reasons, but
that's a good. Go ahead.
They got the game design down. They got the engine. Well, the engine is already Unreal anyway, right? I think.
That's a good question that Sly Crow's at. He said, "Will the next part be cross-gen?"
No.
It just be PS5. Well, just PS5.
Yeah.
They coming in Xbox.
Oh wait, no. You know what? Probably, because didn't they said they're going to be supporting the last gen up until like 4 years after launch? So maybe 2020 or 3 or 4 years or whatever.
That could change if they start selling a bunch of PlayStation 5s.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I would prefer it not be cross-gen, because that means that the PS5 version would just have that much more freedom and versatility to really allow the Square team to push it to the limit and not design in all those areas. You play the game and you're like, all the times Cloud has to squeeze through certain areas. All that is just loading the next area for that old hardware. Even though the PS5 doesn't need to do that, it has to do that because it's the same game that is being ran on outdated garbage from 2013. So, yeah, I really hope it's not cross-gen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, SLoMo, as always, great episode of DPS. I truly appreciate you and all of the knowledge and stuff that you bring to the show. Please let these people know what you got going on your channel, what games you're going to be playing, and actually, what's the next thing on your list when it comes to games that you're looking forward to before the end of this year?
Next on my list is probably Back 4 Blood. Actually, no. I'm continuing Tales of Arise. I'm kind of excited to continue that on because I was really enjoying it. But after that, probably Back for Blood with the homies. Uh, you know what? I'm not excited for Battlefield 2042, but so many people are excited for it. I want to play it with them just to kind of experience it. So Battlefield 2042, and of course Halo Infinite. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for Halo Infinite. So yeah, that's what's up next for me now in regards to what I'm doing in the next few days. Tomorrow, I probably will be streaming Bioshock Infinite again, hopefully finishing it.
Oh man,
I'm gonna hope that Halo Infinite Flight is performing better for me, so I can play that right. And RRD wants to know my Halo Infinite flight thoughts. Already, we went into that for like a good long period of time earlier in the show. Try to go back to the beginning of the show, and you'll hear our thoughts on that. I appreciate the question though. But no, I'm still working on. I got another video. I'm still working on the channel in regards to. I wanted to have it out this week, but I'm not quite getting some of the footage I need quite yet to get everything the right where I want it. So just look out on the channel for that, as well as DPS podcast will be on my channel next week, same time, same DPS time. So same DPS day. You know how it is. So yeah, come check it out. But great show, Forte. Great show.
Yeah, man, it was a really good show. For myself, same thing. Looking forward to the flight tomorrow to start back up in Halo. Looking forward to what that PC patch looks like. Xbox was running great, and just really looking forward to playing that game some more. It was really, really good. And just jumping into, for me, man, Battlefield is it. And I'm in the beta. I believe the beta is this weekend. And I'm really hoping it's not like the technical beta that was like last month. But who knows? It's DICE, and I'm willing to give it a try.
I heard that technical beta was not running very well.
That technical beta wasn't a beta. That thing should have been a test run. That's what that was. It was terrible. But in general, I just think a lot of stuff that's coming out this holiday, and a lot of games. The biggest thing I would just tell people: buy the games that you like. Don't try to overextend yourself on just trying to pick up games that you don't know you're interested in, because there's a good chance that a lot of these games are going to probably come out not all as good as they need to be when they first come out. So I would probably wait till after launch, unless it's a game that you want to pick up day one. Like I'm picking up Halo. I'm not picking up Halo. I'm getting in Game Pass, but I'm picking up Battlefield day one because I'm just a Battlefield fan. But games like Call of Duty and stuff, I'm just gonna wait and see, because
that's another thing. I'm also gonna play Battlefield because I got EA Play Pro.
Oh yeah, so you get it with your subscription,
right? So I don't have to pay.
Now, are you doing? Now, is your EA Play? Is it through EA, or did you get it through Steam?
I got it through EA.
Okay, so you'll be doing it through the Origin launcher.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. So, no, man, but first of all, I really appreciate I think it was like 49 people we got up to today, and I really appreciate all of you guys. All of the support has been great. Shout out to Lady Fox, sorry, saying that was some great advice. I appreciate you, dear. Your advice that you give people on a day-to-day basis is even better than the ones that we give. So shout out to you for always staying consistent. And yeah, facts. Definitely. And I just want you guys just to enjoy the games that you're playing. It's a lot of games out here. Don't get caught up in all the hype. Just be happy for the games that you're looking forward to, and let those games guide you through this holiday. And outside of that, it's Gaming Forte. You're already on the channel. We'll see you on DPS for episode 54 next week on SLoMo's channel, where that man's going to put a lot of hard work in, and can't wait to see you guys all on that week. So you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week, and have a very productive gaming weekend. Later, everyone.
Peace.